What's going on? Give me some of my late night thoughts. What's going on with me? I want to get them out of my head so I don't gotta think about them before I go to bed. But just thinking about all these psyops that people are constantly throwing out, trying to keep people in fear. And there's always a small group of people who are in positions of power or in perceive positions of power who just want to keep everybody in fear and scared and isolated, and they just want to just continue to project their thoughts and their feelings on other people, and it keeps people stagnant, keeps people where they're at. And that's why the status quo stays the way that it does for years, centuries, depending on where you're at. And it's frustrating to me, mainly because I can see through it. You know what I'm saying? If people were truly as tough as they claim to be, they wouldn't be throwing out all these threats. Even if they make good on some of them, like 90% of them are completely empty. And it's like, why even pretend to do something that you're not going to do? All the threats I've been receiving this past week, with the government, it's just like most of us can see through it to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Most people believe it because everyone's in fear and everyone's afraid of their own shadow, let alone the government or their superiors or wherever they want to see people. Most people are pretty skittish. So it works to an extent, but once you kind of see through it and kind of zoom out and see that this is always kind of how people who have had power kept it for years, just keeping people in fear and just constantly just throwing people off and making people just doubt themselves, you know what I'm saying, and truly doubt how the world truly is, how the world truly works is how these things continue. And the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, is because it needs to stop. This chapter of it, of keeping people in fear and not, being honest about what's going on. This is nothing but just people projecting their fear. And I appreciate the people, who are helping me and on my side and who are cheering me on and all that, kind of, giving it their all at the same time. It's like I've been on this road my entire life. I know what I'm doing to like an extent, you know what I'm saying? Like I understand what's going on. I understand what's at stake. That's why I don't really sweat any of this shit, because it's like everything's predetermined. Everything was going to happen. Life's a roller coaster. Just put your hands up and scream. That's pretty much the best thing that you can do, because everything else is just ego driven, and you're just kind of just doing things that are just self-serving. Doesn't really serve anybody else, and it's very evident. It shows, and it's just one of those things where that's the reason why I keep my stress level down. It's because I don't take this too personal. I hear what people say, I see what they do. It's like you're putting in so much effort into something that you have no control over. You know what I'm saying? You can't control where this goes. You have no say. And yeah, people just want to just project. No matter what happens, it's just projection. Especially when they have the tools to get the knowledge themselves, you know what I'm saying? To ask questions instead of just kind of doing what they're used to doing and kind of step outside the box. But that's the reason why they are the way that they are, and why I feel like 80% of people are just kind of like floating around. I understand why that quote that Epstein said, where most people are cattle. I don't look at it from like a control aspect, but yeah, most people are just here just to be controlled and to be moved from one place to another. There aren't that many free thinkers, unfortunately. Most people aren't here because two people loved each other and just want to have a family. Most people are here because they needed bodies to build capital or build a legacy or whatever, and it's very evident. It shows, and those are the main people doing most of the yapping, telling me, what's going to happen, what's this, what's that, but their actions say otherwise. Their actions are like, man, you are terrifying, and I'm scared, and I don't know what to do. And it's like, I'm not sure why you're terrified. I'm not sure what you're truly afraid of. But we're all gonna get through it. At the end of the day, I know I am. I know we all are. This is all part of the plan, you know. So I'm not sweating it, but it's just seeing all of the misdirection being thrown around and how it's the threats every single day. It's just like why is this constantly happening? Why are you doing this to yourselves? You know, I'm trying to comprehend it for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you benefit from this? You know, I don't know these people personally, but I'm just trying to figure out what do you benefit from it? Because it seems like I'm the one mainly benefiting from these threats. I'm having all this evidence. You're proving my point. You're vindicating me without me having to do anything or me doing the bare minimum. I guess that just goes back to the black pill of just the truth will always come out. You can't play hide and seek with the truth, no matter what you admit to publicly, societally wise. You did what you did. You said what you said, and you gotta live with it. You know, you made your bed. You gotta lay in it. You know, what's done is done. So, you know, the cream always rises to the top, and I always know that, you know, everything that happens to me is for my benefit. Everything that's been going on is for my benefit, for my personal goals. I wouldn't have all these dreams and aspirations for myself as a person, as a philosopher, as an artist, if I wasn't going to, if they weren't going to bear fruit. It wouldn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? I would have been doing something else. You know, if there's another path I could have took, I definitely would have took it. But this was the path that was laid out for me, and I have to kind of keep walking it down, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. But just this seeing how people are and how people are just kind of running around like chickens with heads cut off. It's this very it reveals a lot about what we are as a species, as animals, and what needs to be done moving forward. And the main thing is this transparency. The main thing I want to be gotten out of this is more transparency. You know, everyone kind of having everything out bare open. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no more secrecy. There's no more hiding. It's just it is what it is. We can kind of grow from all this and move on, versus just keep this charade going. Because like no one believes it anymore. We're all sick of it. We're all tired of it. And people are just looking for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely going to give them one from what this is, because like the amount of resources and the amount of just nonsense going on it just can't continue. People can't live like this. I can, but they can't. You know, they're definitely stressing the hell out, constantly following me, keeping communications on me for better or for worse. It's like it's not how people need to live life. You know what I'm saying? In fear. So it's like this is like the Chinese finger trap. I think it is. You gotta, you know, come together. I got my other finger about to come together to come apart. It's kind of what's going to have to happen. Us as a species, we're going to have to come together to figure out our differences and then kind of leave or go our separate ways, because we're most decent people that I'm seeing. We can all see through all this, and we all know what's going on, and they can't silence us. They can't keep us down. It's like it's a very few amount of people who are actually in control of all this, and once they're gone, then what? You know what I'm saying? Most of these people, they are not chosen for greatness, and they know they are, and that's why they're doing what they're doing, because they're very upset, they're very jealous. But at the end of the day, all their actions lead to the best of the best of us, and we will continue to do what we've always been doing at the end of the day. So as the lights go out, it's time to end the day and get on with this. So yeah, better days are ahead, y'all. Stay the course.